You don't need no ties. You don't need no socks. And you sure as hell don't need another one of these ugly sweaters. What you do need is an Isaiah Whitlock Jr. talking bobblehead.
For those of us lucky enough to remember music from the 90s, it may have been the last decade of true songs of women expressing appreciation and love for men. Women sang of not wanting their man to walk away from them. They sang of giving him something he can feel. They sang of how his love made them weak. It was a bookend to the last decade of true love songs from women to men, and it ushered in an era of a different tone, from a new generation of women to men.
Marriage is one of the greatest scams placed on women. They really got into our heads, manipulated and brainwashed us to think that this is what we love, this was going to be good for us, we were going to be happy doing this. Having a man in our bed, constantly having access to our body so that he could use for his selfish reasons. He goes to work, builds his career while I stay home, do slave labor.
I hate being a mother. It's one of the biggest regrets. One of my biggest regrets. And nobody can convince me that it's worth it, ever.
If I'd slept with, like, say 20 men, would you be bothered?
Yes.
You would be bothered. Why?
Yeah. I wouldn't entertain him.
Why?
Because your body count was 20.
What's wrong with 20? He's definitely got double standards.
Let me show you what sorrow look like. Look at the happiness on this face. He happy that he got somebody to slave for him. This is slavery. This is sorrow. This is... She has been conditioned to beg for her own slavery.
Along with a larger group of men having more difficulty in the dating market and shifting views of women towards men that are trending away from romantic, there's also the issue of what happens if you do have a family. Well, articles like this one show that there's a new temperature in Western not only dating, but family rearing. Pole dancing studio defends viral mommy and me class allowing kids to try pole techniques with parents. An Atlanta pole dancing studio responded after a mommy and me workshop geared toward letting moms practice pole techniques with their kids made online commenters seethe. And this is a paragraph that was written in the last 2 weeks in modern Western media. Now, viral video of the class from Pink Pole Studios shows kids dancing alongside adults to the tune of Take Me There from the 1998 Rugrats movie, which of course is a movie for children. Outrage coincides trending concerns that children are being overly sexualized from multiple sources, including explicit library books in public schools and through drag shows allowing minors to attend. According to reports, children aged 4 to 14 participated in a pole dancing class. In this environment, men looking to form families are not only facing adversarial attitudes along with more transactional relationships, but even when families are formed, the norms around the kinds of conditions you will raise your children are being challenged. And for a growing number of men in the West, their answer to that is
She.
It's crazy. The State Department has to do this. It's a waste of tax dollars to have to warn people to not do this. But again, there's the warning. Now, after this article was released about those passport bros making their way down to Colombia and getting the United States had to put out a travel advisory to these dusties. Okay? A literal travel advisory to these dusties.
I feel a bit of sorrow for younger guys in the modern dating market where they're in an environment that's not very conducive to romantic, stable relationships, but if they choose to go overseas, they're mocked for it. But the thing is not just passport bros from the West. There are growing numbers of passport bros in other areas as well.
South Korean men who want to marry a woman are facing a growing dilemma. It seems more and more South Korean women are choosing careers and independence over what they perceive as the restrictions of traditional marriage. So because of that, women from Vietnam, China, and Thailand are being more and more wooed and courted by South Korean men.
It seems to me in modern day discourse that there's a trend to demonize the male essence that pushes men to succeed and stick out from the crowd so that they can be deemed acceptable by a mate of the opposite sex. This is something that mankind has had to solve since the inception of mankind. How can I distinguish myself as a worthy person in order to produce a family? And what we're starting to see is that drive to solve that problem for men is creating similar results in different parts of the world.
Irene Park joins us from Seoul, who's been investigating these international marriages on the rise. Tell us more, Irene, tell us more about it.
An increasing number of South Koreans are choosing multicultural marriages. 1 in 10 people in South Korea decides to marry a foreigner nowadays. In this report, we went to a matchmaking agency that specializes in organizing mixed marriages. And as you'll see, it's quite surprising. The client we met traveled to Vietnam to speed date with local young women, and he had less than 24 hours to find his future wife.
The story of this speed dating event pretty much begins with a group of Korean men who are looking for wives, and for whatever reasons, they are not finding success in Korea, so they're employing this matchmaking agency to take them, in this case, to Vietnam, where they have about a 48-hour period to decide if they will click with this person. So, of course, you can see it's a speed dating event, and this is a new iteration, although it's quite different from the way that men in the West are doing it. These men are doing things in the same vein. They're going outside of their norm to try and find a woman that will build a family with them, because they're in an environment where they can't find one that will do that with them. It speaks to the human experience. These men have studied hard, they've worked hard, they have procured resources, but where they are the dusties that many passport bros in the West are. And so, overseas dating it is.
Today, around 20 women aged between 20 and 30 have come to this hotel in the city's centre.
I would like to make a good impression on my future husband, in case I meet him today. The bracelet I'm wearing is symbolic.
Jin Woon Sob, a 40-year-old farmer, is hoping to find someone who can help him run his farm and look after his aging parents.
It's difficult to find a wife in South Korea. I'm getting old and it doesn't get easier with time. Marriage is seen as important. Everyone around me keeps telling me it's time to settle down.
What we see in the story of this gentleman looking for a mate is one that plays itself out, although in different ways. Maybe for passport bros, it may be in a bar or in some kind of dancing event, but here he's doing it with speed dating, and he's doing the same thing that many passport bros are. I'm finding young ladies that I think are attractive or that I think I can jive with, and I'm trying to vet them as best I can in the manner that I have while I'm overseas. And it just goes back to the nature of humanity. These young ladies are not just looking for love, but maybe for some stability, and he can provide stability, and he wants a companion. Something that, although it's being more and more vilified in the West, is a very natural search for men and women to procure. And he's doing it in the way that gentlemen in Eastern Asia are doing it when they're looking for wives.
Jin seems eager to get to know more about this woman, 30-year-old Tien. She's been called back for a second meeting. This time, she and Jin communicate using translation apps. Ten minutes later, all seems well.
착한 것 같아. 착한 것 같아요.
Em có thích anh không? Dạ vâng.
홍서 씨는 어떻고?
어디?
그러면 이제 마음에 드셨으면 남자답게 일어서서 악수 한번 하시고 한번 안아주시고 답변 안 해서요. 답변 안 하고.
Thế là run ạ. Dạ có. Dạ vui. Em nghĩ là tình cảm sẽ phải từ thời gian bồi đắp vậy ạ.
These marriages may not be a case of love at first sight, but they come with the prospect of a stable future for Vietnamese women and their families.
So what do you do whenever you go to the other society who has an acceptable agenda, and then somebody get voted into office and then they change the agenda? Right. You don't like, are you gonna tuck and run to another society, or are you gonna make it a habit of running from your country where you put your stake down, because you can't face it and dwell in it. I got to raise 2 kids in this society. I'm not going to run to a different country because of an agenda. You just got to figure out how to maneuver in the obstacles that's put in front of you. It's just an obstacle that's put in front of you. Yeah. And I think if you running away, you just gonna find it. You're gonna find something else somewhere else that you ain't gonna like, and you have to keep running.
Hey, Bob Marley, there's a song by Bob Marley called Running Away, right? And in the hook he goes, you're running and you're running and you're running away, but you can't run away from yourself. Any problem that you have in your life, I'm a firm believer that it's something to do with you. Right?
Well, the thing is, self-improvement is about self. It's not about the country. You know what I'm saying? So I think people are looking at self-improvement as something they do to get a specific outcome. So thinking, if I self-improve, then this is going to happen. I'm going to get this particular thing. And what happens is that self-improvement makes you understand yourself more, so that you're able to actually get what you want. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times what happens is the reason why not only men, but people in general don't get what they want is because they haven't self-improved, or I should say they haven't tapped into who they really are to understand what they really want to get what they really want.
But so yeah, what you just say, if you're a punk, you just said it, if you're a punk.
Oh yeah.
Right, but masculine, you're right. I agree with what you missing me. I agree with you. My point is, most men are not. I'm just gonna say a lot of black men. I'd say probably like 60, 70, 80% are raised by women, and women teach men to be punks, and then the women don't respect punks. So what you're dealing with and then
the punks got to run to where they're appreciated, right? Because nobody appreciates them here because a woman raised them, right?
No.
God damn it, Miles.
No, because and that's the essence. You would be saying that I'm a punk. I hope that's not what you're saying.
No. You went to Thailand by accident, so you're not in that.
But I was always traveling though. To be honest, I came out here to get some more Airbnb. I saw it was popping out here. I'm thinking like a businessman. I had a successful Airbnb in LA, and I wanted to expand. But you're right. But the point I'm making is the games aren't played the same out here.
Salute to Richie Mack. In my opinion, he's like the Michael Jackson of the Passport Bros. He's the one that he just draws everyone to him because he is so bubbly personality and he's so charismatic. But he makes a really good point in this stream, and I don't want to cast aspersions to anyone that was participating in it, but what he's simply saying is we don't have to play the game that we've been told we should be playing in. And when you look at the news report from the French News Authority, what you're seeing is that in other parts of the world, they don't even have qualms about changing the way they play the game. It's only in our community where guys who choose to play the game differently are being told that they're quote unquote cheating, or they're not taking the right road, or they're punks. When all actuality, what's happening is men are using their brains and their resources to find different ways to solve the age-old problem. How can I find someone that's going to respect me, I can share my life with, and I can give her some stability? And gentlemen in Korea are having zero qualms about going overseas to find mates. Maybe it's about time that black men in the black community should feel the same. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.